So when they were sitting around the table and the general from Russia starts playing the ancient old seed that only General Alder would be old enough to remember, I kind of felt called out because I had a similar conversation with my daughter when I tried to explain In Vogue and Megadeth from my 90s high school years. Youngsters. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing Motherland Fort Salem episode 3 entitled A Biddy's Life. Yes, lots and lots of stuff happened and now there's even more questions because just when I think I have something figured out, it just seems to go a little bit further into the what the heck just happened phase. So let's start with what's going on in the series right now. So right now, currently, it is the season called, or I guess it's kind of like a Woodstock for witches called Beltane, whereas the male witches and the female witches get to intermingle for, I guess, a week and basically do whatever they want, which generally means they get to have as much sex as they want and romance each other. Kind of like, well, not kind of like, but in the Triwizard Tournament in Harry Potter, when the other schools would come and visit and you had like the whole thing with Hermione and Victor Crumb, that is what Tally, and I think his name is Garrett Buttonwood, who was an old childhood friend of Abigail and her rival, Libba, kind of are like to me. I mean, the whole relationship is very cute. Now, Tally has never been with a man. She's a virgin. She's never had a boyfriend, never been kissed. She's from the microphobia, whatever it was called, the all women, compound in North Cal. Or I think it was North Cal. So she is the loudest to express her excitement when the men come off the bus. Everyone notices. Everyone notices. Tally's like, hello, I am here. Tally's horny. So she is tally-ho for the situation. Her and Garrett hit it off. Abigail hits it off with two guys and also shows off the fact that she speaks Spanish. And of course, Raelle is still with Scylla, so not really interested in the events, but just kind of hanging out because the rest of her unit is. She meets a guy named Porter who's very mean to her. He actually knocks her down during a game that they're playing because he sees her kiss Scylla right before they start playing. She later finds out that Porter has a history with Scylla, which we all know is actually he is the ex-boyfriend of Scylla that Scylla abandoned after her parents died. His parents and her parents were both Dodgers, meaning their parents did not join the military and they went on the run because it's illegal. He just basically is very angry and hurt because Scylla just up and disappears. His girlfriend's gone, and he's like, there was no explanation. And then finally he just joined. He is very suspicious of Scylla and has no problem letting her know it, and has no problem letting Raelle know that she does not know her girlfriend like she thinks she does. So we'll get a little bit more into the outcome kind of that later. General Alder has this group of older women that serve. They're in military attire that are basically attached to her hip. In the last episode, you saw them getting ready to take on the president for her when the president was kind of talking smack to General Alder. So I didn't know what they were and why they were able to serve at that age, but now it's clearer, kinda, and a little bit disturbing. So biddies are actually young girls who give up their youth so that General Alder can stay youthful. So basically she's draining, I guess, their life force. That's creepy, and they're happy about it. They're very honored to do this. It's like, okay. Even Tally was like, it's such an honor to be chosen as a candidate to, walk beside General Alder for all not really eternity, but, basically serving in that capacity, and I'm like, you realize that you get old in like 1 minute. So that is so weird. So then it starts making me question, is Alder a time witch? Chad, I want to say Chad C. If I did your name wrong, I apologize. One of my viewers who comments on a lot of my videos, especially my charm videos, he asked the question of, did I think that General Alder is a necro? You know what? That is highly possible, because if she's able to siphon off youth and to the point where you're basically dying, I mean, maybe. But quite frankly, I think she has all the abilities. I think she can do them all. But I don't know. I do know this. It's very strange. General Alder is very, very strange. And the older seed that we hear when she goes to the Hague, and the Hague is kind of like, it's kind of like the Pentagon for like witch generals from around the world. They bring in this old seed that's not recognizable by anyone. The general in Russia has it, and he has it contained. I guess it's like whatever that little box is. Maybe it's like a recording device. And he says it comes from a group of nomad witches that are kind of on the border between Russia and China, and that China wants them, and like every nation has tried to get them, and they just don't want any involvement with the military. And General Alder's like a stickler, like no, 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 no. You know, you can't just force them to join, leave them alone, blah, blah, blah. But then you have General Sharma, who I swear looks like Adina from the Bold type. She might be. She is like basically questioning General Alder's, everything, basically, like saying, okay, you're just really saying that to get us all to back off so America can get them. And it's so political. It's like that whole table is like General Sharma wants, General Alder to be gone, not to be the leader anymore, because she doesn't feel like she's a United Nations type situation. She's only out for the States or America or her own agenda. And quite frankly, she might be, because I'm so convinced that she started the spree. But just saying. So yeah, we have that with General Alder, and then we have Tally. So like when they were doing their drills, and the seed was called Seed 37, it was called the Seed of Revealing, and basically it's like this really low sound that's not, you really can't hear it at all. It's completely inaudible to the human ear, and some register they can use, and they have these scries, and if they do it correctly, they're able to see or sense what's behind the objects, and Tally was able to do it. Tally was able to see like the color flags behind all of them. No one else was getting this, and she was getting them like that, which is what I said in my last review. I said because of the different classes of witches, which, if it's Harry Potter, we'll call them houses. I said Abby was a blaster. I said that Riel was a fixer because she's a medic, and that I believe that Tally was a knower. And knowers are people that can basically sense things and see things and are the strategists of the group. It's almost like a psychic, type ability. General Alder has one in her group, and she actually sees that there's a candidate from wherever they are. Like they're way over where the Hague is, and they're nowhere near their school at the time. And she's like, oh yeah, Quartermain, Anacostia has found a new candidate to replace the biddy that just died. And so I think that Tally has that ability. So Tally is definitely the knower in the group, which means that Abigail is going to come out with a huge blasting power, because we already know that Rael is really, really cool and advanced prodigy, in my opinion, medic or fixer. So yeah, that was pretty cool. There was a little bit of banter and a little bit of rivalry between Libba and, because I think her family's the Swine, and then the Bellwether, or Abby and the Bellwethers. They're basically telling a story about a battle, and Libba was making it seem like her, her family or her grandmother or great-grandmother, whoever, was like the pillar, she was the savior of this battle. And then Abigail's behind her. It's like, actually, my grandmother held down the line and sacrificed herself, so your grandmother could just go up on the hill and conjure a storm. And she's like, that's what soldiers do. That's what bellwethers do. And everyone's clapping. And I think that the bellwethers are another shady part of this story, because they are military royalty. But I really do think, even from Rael's mother's letters, that something is going on in their family. I don't know how far it goes back, but I think the mother at least is shady. Who knows? And I think that Abigail is going to be in for a rude awakening. I wish I could read some synopsis for the next episodes. I only have the one for next week, but I do think something's going to happen with that. She's going to be knocked off her horse, and probably her entire identity is going to be called into question. I think that is going to happen. But yeah, so back to Scylla. So Scylla gives a story to Rael, because, at this point, Rael's like, your ex is here. He told me some stuff. You either tell me what's going on or I'm out. So she talks about how their family were Dodgers, and how when her parents were killed, basically she got angry. And the reason that she enlisted was to basically play the game and get back at them, get revenge for her parents. And I think that is a true story, but I don't think she's talking about the military. I think she's talking about, the spree. That she gave the real answer of why she joined the spree. Rael just isn't getting it. But Porter is on to Scylla. It's so bad that he actually goes to her dorm room, and she starts kissing him, after he accuses her. He's like, she had so much rage she could fill a balloon, which is what the spree is. And that comment was not lost on me. She starts kissing him and stuff, and he's like, oh, my girlfriend. So the hormones took over. But then she whispers this incantation about having infinite sadness or whatever. And to me, I think that's probably a suicide type of spell that makes him want to kill himself. And honestly, guys, I'm going to tell you this. I like Rael with Scylla, but honestly, I don't like Scylla right now. And I think that it's really hard because LGBT representation is very hard, especially if it's in a lesbian relationship that normally one of them dies, one of them moves away, whatever. In this case, one of them's just freaking insane and a terrorist and has no qualms killing people. So it's hard to support her with Rael when she's so dirty. And I'm speaking from someone who's in an LGBT marriage, so I'm not anti this relationship. In fact, I am also very pro Rael and Tally. I think they are an adorable couple. I think they would be an adorable couple. I just do. If it does not work out with her, maybe Tally's bisexual. You never know. But I just feel like it is getting really hard for me to support someone who killed Porter the way she did. That was messed up. And, poor Rael sees him. He drops right in front of her and she's trying to heal him. God love her. She tried really hard and he died. And the last image she sees is Scylla standing there right where he fell on that little lever or balcony, whatever, looking down at her. And that is extremely messed up. So yeah, I'm having a lot of problems with Rael and Scylla right now. So, yeah. And speaking of the spree, they did another big attack in Dayton, Ohio. It looked like at a community pool. There was a lifeguard, and he just starts chanting this incantation, and one of the inflatables in the water that one of the gentlemen had starts seriously expanding, and when it explodes, ice forms in the water, and people are either frozen. Anybody that was under the water is pretty much, they can't get up because of the ice, so they drown. And then people their limbs are chopped off. I mean, you name it. It's gruesome. And then you see him get up and walk off and say, "We are the spree." It's a mess. And so that was the entire reason that the general even went to the Hague, because they called an emergency meeting, because the attacks are increasing. It's escalating and nothing is stopping them. And they are doing it not only in America, they're doing it around the world, because people are saying that other places are being hit too. So yeah, the spree is no joke. They are no joke. And honestly, though, I do think that Alder has a lot to do with it, because especially with Sharma doesn't trust her. And I really think that mistrust is valid, because another one of my comments on my last video said something that kind of struck a chord with me. It's like General Alder would be no longer needed if the spree was not a thing. I don't know any other terrorists that they're fighting. So if the spree no longer exists, then why is there a need for them? I mean, she'd be out of a job. They all would. So conjuring up your own enemy, keeping you in business, seems to be the more, to me, believable choice for somebody as old as General Alder. I mean, she has no problem stealing the youth from other girls and convincing them that that's an honor, So I don't know. It's just dirty to me. That whole thing is dirty. So yeah, I have a lot of problems with what's going on. And then, of course, the outside of the biddies situation, and of course, Tally and the Garrett thing, which is cute. The whole thing going on with Scylla, the whole thing going on with Abigail and her two guys. Yes, she had two guys. I think the only other thing that I thought was funny was we meet, her name was Lieutenant Sergeant Barry Essa Tansey. That might be right. She is, it looks like an old friend of Anacostia, or, Drill Sergeant Quartermain. And they start talking about their time in the Beltane and how, I guess the first one that they ever went to, Anacostia got so excited, she ripped the pants from behind the guy she was with. And the way they were talking and her having her hair down, she was like a completely different person. I've noticed that even in episode 1, it really seems like Team Bellwether is the team she's rooting for. She seems extremely proud with whatever they do. I don't know what that's about, but I feel like that's part of General Alder's plan, and I don't know why. But she seems to be boosting this team up above everyone else. She is playing favorites. Everything they do, you can see the smirk on her face, the smile on her, the pride on her face. When General Alder said, was talking about the team and said, oh, they're on my radar, I'm watching them now. Her smile was like extremely huge, which makes no sense because she's training all of these teams. She should be rooting for them all, but she seems to really be rooting for them. And I wonder why. I just really want to know what it is. If it's something that reminds her of herself or maybe her unit, I don't know, but it's weird. And she's super protective of Rael, which I've noticed. That's why she's always approaching Scylla and telling Scylla to back off if she knows what's good for her. Break it off, stay away. So, yeah, I would love to know what that's about. I mean, maybe it's some loyalty to Rael's mother. I don't know. But, yeah, I would love to know what that's about. So, yeah, a very, very good episode. Like I said, a lot happened. A lot of it was half love fest, half character development. So, it's pretty good. But I am really looking forward to seeing what happens after the trauma of Porter's death in front of Rael next week, because I'm sure everything's going to hit the fan on next week, and it looks like they even discovered that there may be a spree among them. So I want to see how that plays out. But yeah, good episode. But what do you guys think? Leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the nerd ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.